Assos or Behramkale is often referred to as plain old Behram. The town is just 18 kilometres from Ayvacık in the Çanakkale province. If we go back in time, it would have been known as Apollonia. Assos today is an Aegean coastal resort as well as a historical site. In fact, you will see that Behramkale, or Assos, is split into two parts. Let's deal with the historical site first. When you arrive, you will probably park your car near the bottom of the hill and walk up the cobbled road to the ancient site. You'll need to pay for parking and there's an entrance fee to the ruins, but it isn't expensive for most visitors from overseas. Walking up the hill can take a while for those that are not fit, but it should be easy enough for most able persons. It's about a 10-minute walk uphill, but take your time, there's no rush, and there are a host of local craft stalls, cafes and restaurants, gift shops and local produce in abundance. You might find as a tourist that some of the locals can be a bit pushy, but they're just desperate to sell their wares, so just smile and politely decline. When you finally reach the top and you've entered the site, you'll be able to sit under a big shady tree on one of the benches and get your breath back. There's almost always a nice cool breeze blowing here. Behramkale is known as the place where Aristotle went and was welcomed by King Hermias to the Academy of Assos. Aristotle became the leader of a group of philosophers who made observations and innovative deductions on zoology and biology. Aristotle had to escape Assos and flee to Macedonia when the Persians arrived. King Hermias was caught and executed. Visitors to Assos can see a restored statue of Aristotle at the main entrance road. The statue is around 2.5 metres high. It was damaged by vandals and had to be sent to Izmir for repairs, so what you're seeing now is the restored version. Excavations on the site at Behramkale commenced in 1980, and the theatre, assembly building, harbour and gymnasium are just some of the buildings that have been unearthed at present. Assos, which is the most common name, is situated on the south side of the Biga Peninsular. By that I mean Biga as in the word, or place, spelt B-I-G-A, and often referred to by its ancient name of Troad. Although we're still in the Canakkale province, at this point we're now not far from Edremit, which is a little further down the coast. There is a path from the ancient site that winds its way down. It's a new path actually. It takes you to the excavated part of this historical site. It's quite an arduous journey in the summer heat, but you can also access this entrance from the main road down to the small harbour and the tourist resort, so it'll save you walking all the way down and back up again. From the top of the site here you'll see the ruins of the ancient Temple of Athena. The views, as you can see here, are spectacular. Across the water you have the island of Lesvos, whose history is entwined with Assos. The tourist area below, which retains a harbour, was very important in ancient times, and it was a key location for traders and ships along this coastal route. So this hillside city with its extensive walls and fortifications would have been quite formidable. It was founded around 900 BC by the Aeolians from Lesbos. In its heyday, this would have been a vibrant and a successful trading centre, fortified with troops, and a welcome stop for the weary crews of the merchant ships. The Persians were eventually driven out by Alexander the Great in 334 BC. It was ruled by the king of Pergamon until finally being incorporated within the Roman Empire. Over time, its importance slowly waned, and Assos fell into ruin and ended up being no more than a small village. At that time, Assos was ruled by the Byzantines, and at the beginning of 395 AD, before it became an Ottoman town around the 14th century. Today, of course, Assos still exists as a village. You walk through it on your way to the top of the hill, and this historic site has been of great importance to the local people who rely on the money that tourism brings. Like so many places in Turkey and Greece, the Temple of Athena has suffered from its stones and artwork being moved to museums in Europe. One of the most annoying things about the historical site is the lack of any information. You will have to visit a tourist shop and purchase a book in order to obtain this information, but better that you do your research before you travel here. This video just gives you a brief overview of the history of this important archaeological site. As you walk through the centre of the village, you probably won't notice that many of the old buildings on the outskirts are in ruins. Having said that, you can also see that the restaurants, shops and cafes have been lovingly restored with natural stone from this region. The Doric Temple of Athena dates back to 530 BC. Just 6 of the original 38 columns remain, but the glass display platform provided shows you what it would have looked like. The city and the wall and gate can be best viewed on your way down to the harbour. This 4th century BC structure is around 14 metres high, it's around 45 feet. The gymnasium dates back to the 2nd century BC, as does the agora and the theatre, which was built for around 5,000 spectators. So if you've had enough, we can now head down the steep hill to the harbour and the tourist area of Assos, which I mentioned earlier. You can see the nice deep blue sea here, crystal clear waters. Now this can get quite crowded in the summer months, especially at weekends, so be prepared to walk a little. When you do finally get to the Esquella or pier, you'll find some idyllic old stone houses which have become hotels, cafe bars and restaurants. The harbour itself is a working harbour, hence the abundance of fishing boats. There are also boat tours running from here. There is a pebbled beach, although less crowded beaches can be found a little further up the coast. There are wooden platforms where people can laze around sunbathing or go for a swim. There are also some very nice boutique hotels and quality fish restaurants. Assos is not cheap. If you're on a budget, then you're not likely to find cheap accommodation around the harbour area. But if you come back up the hill and drive out along the main coast road, you'll probably find what you're looking for. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe on the link below. Many thanks.